Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the EBERSPÄCHER Luge World Cup Finals here in YANQING, China. This is the second run of the women's doubles. We've just seen an incredible first run. I'm joined by Leon Felderer. My name's Mark Hatton, and this is currently in third, Upete Kaluma. And then Andrea Vota and Marion Oberhofer having a few problems up top, but really putting down a very, very solid run to come into second place. And then the world leaders, Selina Egler and Lara Kipp, doing what they do best and sitting on the top step of the podium at this halfway point. My name is Mark Hatton. I'm joined by Leon Felderer from Team Italy to call this second run. That was pretty, well, after watching the women's racing, there was less drama than I expected from the doubles. Same.
I thought we're going to see much more problems than here for the lady doubles, especially after how the training week went for them. But yeah.
We have just had a statistic come up on the screen. Air minus 9.1, ice minus 11.3.
So another degree, 1.5 degrees colder than it was in the first run.
How significant is that to the athletes?
I don't know if that makes a difference or not. It's just 1 degree because obviously -9 is already very, very cold, and now -11 is just a bit colder. I don't know if you can feel it as an athlete, to be honest. I don't think so.
I mean, I'm guessing with this dry air, the spritz is going to be very important.
Yeah.
Because it's such a small field, hopefully it won't be. Hopefully it will last for all of them.
Oh yeah, it will for sure. Especially with the low humidity here that we have on this fantastic track. It's an awesome venue. Just looks amazing. Yeah, it's by far the coolest tracks look-wise, and it's also to slide on here. It's an amazing feeling. It's a very unique feeling because you don't have a lot of pressure in the corners, and you can see there's a lot of 180 degrees corners, and then there's a 360 degree corner, and a very interesting finish, like the dragon tail.
Would you say it's similar to any track on the planet, or is it its own thing?
It's comparable to Pyeongchang, I would say, to some corners, but it's very unique. And here we see the POV run. That's what I thought would be a big challenge, like out of 2 in going into 3, but the ladies just did an awesome job here at showing that they know how to slide. Corner 4 was not a big problem in the first run, just trying to build the momentum. Corner 5 was where we saw some people have problems. Too much pressure going to 6, and then the slingshot out of 6 onto the uphill section going into 9, onto 10, and into the long spiral corner, which is a 360 degree corner. The nicest one in the world, I would say, because you don't have to do much here. It just spits you out perfectly fine. A very low pressure corner 12, and then the big corner 13, the big and scary corner 13. You need to have the perfect line going out of 13 to nail the dragon's tail, and then have a good line into the finish corner.
And that finish corner is quite technical in itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
You see a lot of people get thrown up high and drop down.
There's a lot of steering that you need to do in the finish corner. It used to be much worse in the Olympics. You will see so many people hit out of the finish corner, but it's not that significant because the timing is right after the finish corner, so you don't lose that much time, but still not ideal.
So there is our start list for the second run, and in the background is what they are fighting for. That is the Crystal Globe to decide the overall winner of the EBERSPÄCHER Luge World Cup. In third place, Upete Kaluma. In second place, Vota Oberhofer. And leading at the moment is Egel and Kipp. But it's close. It's a close race, especially for third and fourth. I think Siobhan Forgan and Sophia Kirkby and Upete and Zana Kaluma, that is going to be a battle because there is just 10 thousandths of a second separating those two teams. And
let's not forget that they had some troubles in the first run, both of them. So if they are able to clean it up, they might also be able to compete with Andrea and Marian for the second spot, or second place on the podium.
It's close racing, ladies and gentlemen. You're back for the second run here in YANQING, China. This is World Cup Women's Doubles Luge. And straight off the top now from Ukraine are Elena Stetskev and Alexandra Mok. Ukrainian starts, they've been really impressive throughout all the disciplines.
Yeah, they've been doing a good job. Also at sliding, sometimes they have a very good speed in the track. Olena is a bit struggling with the speed at the moment, but they also had a very decent run in the first run, if I remember correctly. So, and they're sitting in 8th place after the first run, so that's good for them.
They had a really tough run on the first run, but there were flashes of genius all the way down the track, but a couple of big mistakes cost Stetsky and Mock a lot. So they're looking to make up for that in the second run, and it's looking good so far.
Yeah, and they have a big improvement on the start. They had a 7.12 and now a 7.08, so 400 improvement from run 1 to run 2, which is insane.
And that positive speed at the top of the track, that just multiplies.
That multiplies. So some say you can threefold that. Obviously, oh no, obviously not anymore. But some say that you can threefold that the time that you lead at the start, then in the finish. So that would then equal to 1200s. That they would be fast in the first run. But obviously with that mistake, they it doesn't count anymore. So
a lot of that advantage gone from that big mistake just before Kreisel. So Stetsky and Mock having to put that mistake behind them as they negotiate 13, and the Dragon's Tail just clipping the left wall, but getting away with it just around the finish curve, 112 kilometers an hour, crossing the finish line with a combined time of 2:07.635 and a run time of 104.501, having to drop the feet down as their coach is insinuating. And again, great top section, especially the first 4 curves. But that mistake really cost them.
See, they just started skidding out of 6, meaning that they lost a lot of grip. So maybe the ice temperature actually makes a difference, because we have not seen that anywhere in the first run. But that is a very interesting mistake that I've never seen before.
And I guess if you combine that with it dropping out of 6 into that compression, and then the sled gets very light for a split second coming out of compression, I wonder if that combined with the super fast ice is...
Yeah, it could be. If you're not perfectly online and the sled just goes sideways, then it's very hard to catch it.
Yeah, you're a passenger.
Yep.
So Raluca Stramatoraru and Mihaela Manolescu of Romania, our second team off the top. 3 paddles, nice smooth settle. Stramatoraru, incredibly experienced driver of a luge, and her switch to doubles has just been absolutely fantastic. She's just gone from strength to strength. Well into the green by 1.2 seconds, as would be expected, because those were big mistakes by Stetsky and Mock.
Very nice line here, 5.6 out of 6. Also looking very good, looking solid.
And navigating that tricky uphill section out of the compression. And then you get to lie back for 7 seconds as you go around the Kreisel.
Yes. You can just focus on your breathing. And also here, and then once you go into corner 13, then you tell yourself, oh, let's focus now, because now it's where it really counts, where you need to be spot on. And
so close there. Beautiful 13, but just dropped out a touch soon. That's going to cost Stramatoraru and Manolescu. But they're into first place by 3.6 seconds. That looked, the 13 there looked like it was shaping up to be pretty good.
Yeah.
It was a very, very minor mistake that cost them.
Yeah, she was just too high at the end of 13, a little bit. Maybe she, just was a bit too late on the driving off, and then scratched the left wall, and then from that point you just slide to survive. You try to stay on the sled.
And as you see the facial expression there, this is what we were talking about earlier, is how these athletes keep their calm and their cool to keep the sled under control.
Yeah, you need to, because otherwise, if you lose your calm, whenever some mistake like that happen, then you're in even bigger trouble than you already are.
So Adi Giulianati and Jiaying Zhao of China sitting in 6th place. This is a solid performance, considering it's their first race back after that horror crash at the beginning of the season.
I agree. They've had a great run in the first run. It's obviously their home track, so they have plenty of runs here, I assume. But coming back from an injury on the same track that you had the injury from, it's always a special feeling, and they always will have that in their mind whenever they slide here. But it's just great to see them back on the sled. We've been missing them a lot during the season, and not just in women doubles, but also in terms of team competition, because China was not able to participate in team competition without a women doubles.
That's it. So tomorrow in the team finals will be the first time China have competed this season in the team relay. And they're building speed here. This is turning out to be a very nice run, Leon.
Yeah. They've been very good online, looking solid, looking very relaxed. And this is actually where the crash happened, when they injured themselves. And they are looking perfect, spot on. Let's see what they do here.
Coming down to the Dragon's Tail. Oh. Just a little clip on the left wall. That's going to cost him to go deep into the bottom of the finish curve. Crossing the finish line with, wow, just getting into first place there by 0.06 of a second. Wow, losing pretty much close to half a second there with that mistake out of the Dragon's Tail. That's how much that costs you. Look at this.
Yeah, that was a big mistake. The sled started skidding to the right side and then almost flipped and then hit the left wall, and then just big skid going into the finish corner. And that's an uphill section, and whenever there's an uphill section you skid, you lose so much time.
And they looked like they went very low round it, and they once they were on that low line they had to commit to it.
Yeah, exactly.
So Jessica Degenhardt, Cheyenne Rosenthal, not where they wanted to be. It's currently sitting in 5th place. But lots in the tank for them to improve on, because, again, one mistake on this track costs a huge amount. And Degenhardt Rosenthal looking at the moment to try and take home 2nd place overall in the standings.
They've been looking very solid at the top of the track in the first run, with a start record and also the fastest start time so far in the second heat. They've had a lot of struggles then at the lower section of the track, and let's see if they can clean it up here for the second run. Yeah, as clean as anybody we've seen so far.
Big improvement on the first run here from the Germans. And you see that's a perfect example of how time multiplies on the mini-map.
Yes, they're just building speed.
Into the Chrysler they go, ready for the final push.
And this is where the problem for them happened in the first one. Oh, so a little bit of skid, maybe. But much better than in the first one, obviously. Let's see how they can...
just clipping the wall there on the left.
That's so unfortunate, the left tap that just starts the sled to skid, because it's also an uphill section going into a downhill, so you lose a lot of traction and you don't have a lot of weight on the steels, so you don't have any grip at all. So if you just hit the wall, then the sled starts to go sideways.
Yeah, and we were
saying that was very close
to
not hitting. If they wouldn't have, maybe just a centimeter more on the right side, then they would have been fine, but...
Well, as you say, it's a game of inches, but a game of centimeters. And that fine margins in time and also in lines, like as we saw there. But Degenhardt Rosendahl doing enough to hold on to their 5th place. Now looking if they can to jump on the elevator, but not if Siobhan Forgan and Sophia Kirkby have something to say about that. Forgan and Kirkby guaranteed 3rd place overall in the standings. So they've put themselves in a great position, having had a really successful season.
Yes. It's great for them to see how much they improved from last season to this season. They took home a win in Lillehammer. They've been great on the start. They've been showing much more speed than in the last couple of years. So it's just overall great to see another team step up the game in the women doubles. And allow for better racing overall.
Yeah, and another team that really had to dig deep this week, having both succumbed to that horrible sickness that went through the camp. And it's just great that they made it to the start line with minimal training.
Yes. Yeah, well, that's added because it's the first time, obviously, here. It's the first race for women doubles here on this track.
Big skid through there.
Big skid going into 9, into 10. They were looking much cleaner than the first run, but that mistake just cost them a lot.
as anything before Kreisel is expensive, isn't it?
Yes. So expensive.
But the Dragon's Tail just absolutely inch perfect for Forgan Kirkby, trying to make up for lost time. Little tap on the left, but that won't cost them. They've dropped into second place, which puts Degenhardt Rosenthal into fourth at worst. Forgan Kirkby dropping one spot by just 0.3 of a second. Oh, they was looking so good, mate.
They were looking good. And this is where the problem started. Just a little tap out of 9, and that's just so late into 10. Here they were back online, but obviously with a mistake like that, going into a very flat section of the track, that's just too much.
And you also wonder, you look at that and you think, if the ice was more normal, kind of -4.5, would that mistake have happened with that little clip?
Could be. But also, if the ice is not so not so cold, then you might risk a bit more with your setup. So I don't know.
True.
I think it equals out. It equals out.
So Upte Kaluma of Latvia, ranked in third position at the moment after the first run. Another pairing that succumbed to that illness in camp. Good to see them on the start as well.
That's crazy how many people are actually getting caught by this disease. It's crazy.
Little sketchy through the top section, but hanging on to it.
Lots of steering going on here for Anda.
They really had to work for that. Right?
Yes. It looked like that the sled started to break out and skid, but she was doing an amazing job at keeping it online with a lot of work and a lot of steers.
Just hanging on to 5 back there, a couple of curves previously, managing to make it work for them. Almost doing the same mistake as Forgan Kirkby there, but getting away with it. The difference in line about a centimetre. Round the big 370-degree Kreisel.
It's an interesting line, and she put her feet down. She was feeling a bit insecure, a little bit of skids out of 12.
Only 29 thousandths in it at the last checkpoint. Have they done enough? It's going to be so tight coming across. They haven't. That puts Degenhardt Rosenthal into the medals. Guaranteed a bronze as Upte Kaluma dropped back into second by 1.5 tenths.
Yeah, you can see how Anda is moving her feet. That's when the athletes are steering the sled. So there was so much work going on here at the top section of the track.
And you can't plan. That's pure instinct.
That's pure instinct, yeah.
Instinct.
Because you feel like that the sled wants to break out, and you need to correct it with your feet. And these things happen within such a short amount of time. So you cannot think about it. It's just your instinct working for you.
So we're down to the final 2. Andrea Wörter and Marian Oberhofer of Team Italy. Your teammates, Leon.
Yeah. Oh, looked a bit shaky at the pedals. I'm not sure what happened here. Oh no!
Gonna cost them so much. They have half a second to play with, but that could be too much for Wörter Oberhofer to overcome.
That most definitely will be too much. That was such a big mistake, and they're already falling back. That's what we were talking about in the first one, actually. That's what we were expecting a lot of, and also here out of 6. And by the time you have that big of a problem at the top section of the track, it's so hard to stay focused and try to clean it up for the rest of the run, because your mind just wants to get it over with, basically, because at that point you don't have any chance anymore, and it's just very, very hard to stay focused here. And you can see the problem just keeps going and going.
13, Wörter Oberhofer trying to keep this sled on its steels.
Oh,
crossing the finish line into 4th place. Wörter Oberhofer back by 2 seconds, and an incredibly rough run there, Leon.
Yes.
I'm thinking again about this -10 ice there. I feel that when you're skidding that much, as we see,
they had just too much height at the end, barely scratched the right wall, and then left wall and sideways into 3, and at that point already it's over basically. You don't have any chance anymore. But she was struggling to keep the sled straight for the whole run. So I don't know if they risked a bit more with the setup, or if it was really the ice temperatures that that made the difference here from run one to run 2. But that was a rough run for these two.
So what that means is we have one sled left to go. We also know that Jessica Degenhardt and Cheyenne Rosenthal are guaranteed a medal. This is Selina Egler and Lara Kipp. The world leaders, they've won every World Cup except 2 this year, and are just the form pairing.
It's incredible. The season that they've been having it's phenomenal. The way they slide, it's such a joy just to watch them slide. They look so relaxed on the sled. It looks like a single sled, as you said in the first run. The way of calm and the way of confidence that they have on the sled is unmatched.
Looking so smooth through these top curves, and that lead just increasing. 1.2 seconds to the good for Selina Egler, Lara Kipp, and just so smooth through these long straightaways. This is a masterclass coming down the track.
Great line.
The Dragon's Tail, just absolutely perfect. If you're going to do it like that. 124 kilometers an hour, crossing the finish line with a track record. Egel and Kipp win the World Cup, but more importantly for them, are the overall World Cup champions for Team Austria by a massive 1.8 seconds.
That's incredible. I don't know when was the last time that somebody won with 1.8 seconds here in the World Cup in the sport of luge, where it's usually very tight racing. But you know, the way they slid today was just awesome. They had some troubles in the first round, but that was an amazing run, and they have the speed. They know how to slide, and it's just amazing that they put it down here at the very last run of the Women Doubles World Cup.
Fantastic sliding from the Austrian doubles team. Selina Egel, Lara Kipp. Coaches looking so happy with their hard work all season, and as they should, because that was a glorious season.
Oh yeah, they did such an amazing job for the whole Austrian team. The amount of speed that they had, especially in Europe, that was just something from another world.
So this, if anything, shows you what great strength the women's doubles field is in. Just incredible athletes from start to finish. Stetskiv Mock having a really tough time, but showing moments of incredibly good sliding, and every team was just superb today. But Egel, Kipp, Degenhardt, Rosenthal, Upete Kaluma, they are your medalists. Forgan Kirkby just missing out on the medals, and Berta Oberhofer looked to have guaranteed them a medal, but that second run really cost Berta Oberhofer. But if you're going to finish it, do it with a track record and a perfect run. Yeah. Selina Egel, Lara Kipp, very little to say about that run.
Yeah, that's just a textbook run from the two Austrians here. That's not much that you can do better in that run.
So we're going to start off with the presentation for the World Cup today, and then we will move on to the overall presentation. Presenting the trophies, Claire Del Negro, Vice President of Sport for the FIL. Herself an Olympian in 1984. Jessica Degenhardt and Cheyenne Rosenthal receiving their trophies. I'm not really sure what to call them, mascots, trophies?
Pandas.
And victory for today goes to Selina Egel and Lara Kipp. An incredibly well-deserved victory. And I feel all of these women on this podium and all of the women in this competition, they are the trailblazers.
Yes.
I look back to women's bobsleigh in Salt Lake City when those early teams they were the first ones to do it. These athletes are the trailblazers for a whole new discipline.
Yes.
And they are just showing our sport in such a fantastic way.
I couldn't agree more. You know, doubles is such a difficult, such a complex sport, and it makes things way more complicated.
So there's your overall, Egil Kipp, your overall champions. Degenhardt Rosenthal in second, and Forgan Kirkby third in the overall standings. Fantastic from the American team there. And Upte Kaluma just missing out on the top 3 overall. But again, a wonderful season for them as well. As we come to the overall World Cup winners presentation. Crystal Globe going back to Lake Placid. For Siobhan Forgan and Sophia Kirkby, incredibly well deserved after one of their breakthrough seasons as well. Jessica Degenhardt and Cheyenne Rosenthal taking home the silver Crystal Globe, but an incredibly well deserved overall victory for Selina Egler and Lara Kipp of Team Austria, the EBERSPÄCHER Luge World Cup overall champions in women's doubles. You see how close these teams are, because they're at the coalface together.
Yes.
Learning, breaking stuff, learning stuff quickly,
yes.
failing fast, learning fast.
But I feel like the whole luge circuit is very close with each other.
This is true.
It's more like a big family.
Yep, the luge family is very, very much a thing and in very good health. We should have some interviews coming up shortly with the World Cup winners, but we're hopefully going to see a little bit of footage of Selina Egler, Lara Kipp. We are, and this was just a faultless run down the track.
Yeah, that was an amazing run. That's not much that you can do better here in this run. Also the way they slid out of the dragon tail.
Yeah, that was the icing on the cake.
Yeah, that was textbook perfect.
I mean, honestly, some of the singles athletes should watch that.
Yeah,
It looked like a singles sled going down.
I think I'm going to rewatch that for tomorrow's race.
Best of luck tomorrow as well.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks. But today the victory goes to Team Austria. Selina Egler, Lara Kipp, showing how it should be done, whatever sled you're on. And look what it means to them.
Yeah. Guys, congratulations on winning this World Cup here. Also the overall World Cup. How do you feel?
Yeah, it's an unbelievable feeling that we can call us overall World Cup winners. The first run we had some little mistakes out of 13, and in the second we managed to got a clean run, and I think it's perfect to end with.
It was an amazing season, almost a perfect season for you. What's next for you guys?
Next is Olympics. Now we have we take every race like this, and we will see. Maybe next year will be just as good as this year, hopefully.
Thank you so much.
So the overall winners of the World Cup and the winners of today's race as well. Just incredible racing from Team Austria. Selina Egler, Lara Kipp. So that is all we have for this evening, but what a night's racing it's been. We've had the women's singles, women's doubles. We're going to be back tomorrow with men's doubles, followed by men's singles, and then the team relay. It's going to be an incredible night of racing. My name's Mark Hatton. Leon Felder has joined me this evening. Thank you so much, Leon.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
Very best of luck for tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
But for now, this has been the Women's Day for the EBERSPÄCHER Luge World Cup Finals. And that was your champion winning women's doubles competition, won by Egger and Kipp of Austria.